I bought a case of chicken, stuff to make baked macaroni and cheese, and I did cabbage. I packaged my food up, put it in my hot and cold bag, put it in my trunk, and I used to hit all of the barbershops from South Side, North Side, downtown. I had like a whole little route all the way going to Short Pump. Some days I would have my bag with 30 meals and I wouldn't even make it from South Side. And then my customer base started to show, like the barbershops, so many barbershops that showed me love and allowed me to come into their business. I used to come out on a Monday, make my menu, drop it off to all of the barbershops. They would hit me like, hey, Taylor's, which is Taylor's is downtown. He had one on South Side. He was one of my biggest supporters, always opened his doors for me. McCormick's on Broad, I believe. All of the South Side Plaza barbershops. I don't want to forget anybody, but all of those people really came through for me and helped my business.
Wow. So, are you looking to buy or sell your home, but not quite sure if now is the right time? Well, contact Morgan & Co. and allow them to help you make that decision. Morgan & Co. is a leading, top producing company in Central Virginia. Contact Morgan & Co. today at 804-874-6806 or anytime, day or night, at www.morganandcorealty.com. Now back to the episode. Welcome to the Success Leaves Clues podcast, where I find regular people doing extraordinary and phenomenal things in corporate America and entrepreneurship. And of course, I'm your host, Dr. K. I have with me today, True from True's Cultural Kitchen.
Hey, guys.
Thank you for joining me.
Absolutely.
Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell everybody exactly
my name is True. I own True's Cultural Kitchen. I'm owner of a business. I'm a chef. I do it all. If it's dealing with food, I do it all.
An amazing entrepreneur. I've been to your restaurant and the food is fantastic.
Absolutely.
The atmosphere is, warm, friendly, everything that you would think of, good vibe. And where did the idea for the restaurant come from?
So for me, growing up, my mom always cooked, so that's where my passion came from. So when I wanted people to come into the restaurant, I wanted them to feel like they was in their mother's house or in their grandmother's house. I didn't want them to feel like they were actually outside. I wanted it to feel like home. So I kind of decorated it with a Caribbean theme, bright colors, dope vibes, regular pictures that you would see in Auntie house. Of course, I got my New York stuff in there, but I just wanted people to feel at home when they were eating my food.
Yeah. You're from New York?
Absolutely. Born and raised. A little over 10 years.
Okay. And big difference. I mean,
huge difference.
I've never lived in New York, but I've been there, so
right.
I know it's a
huge difference. I was pregnant with my daughter, and I kind of wanted just a different life for her. Not saying that New York was bad. I just felt like it was too fast, and I wanted to raise my daughter somewhere quiet, so I came here.
Yeah. Yep. It's a move I can understand. I've done a lot of moving around when I was in the military, so finding a good location, and it's all about the kids. Definitely.
Absolutely. I mean, looking at my daughter now, I'm definitely glad that I made that decision. She goes to Spelman in Atlanta, so I'm super proud of her. Awesome. Yep.
What year is she in?
This is her third year.
Third year?
Yep.
And obviously, what's she majoring?
Law, criminal law, and I want to say marketing. So she has, she's a double major.
Okay.
Yep.
Did you go to college?
I did. I went to culinary art school, but then I got pregnant with my daughter. So I dropped out. Most of my stuff is just hands-on, like cooking is my passion. So when I first came out here, I started in security. I went into law enforcement, and then I lost my job. So I was just thinking of a way that I can actually do what I love, but make money out of doing it. So I had probably like $500 to my name. I went to Restaurant Depot, which is a place where they sell a lot of food, where restaurants get their food source from. I bought a case of chicken, stuff to make baked macaroni and cheese, and I did cabbage. I packaged my food up, put it in my hot and cold bag, put it in my trunk, and I used to hit all of the barbershops from South Side, North Side, downtown. I had like a whole little route all the way going to Short Pump. Some days I would have my bag with 30 meals and I wouldn't even make it from South Side. And then my customer base started to show, like the barbershops, so many barbershops that showed me love and allowed me to come into their business. I used to come out on a Monday, make my menu, drop it off to all of the barbershops. They would hit me like, hey, Taylor's, which is Taylor's is downtown. He had one on Southside. He was one of my biggest supporters, always opened his doors for me. McCormick's on Broad, I believe. All of the Southside Plaza barbershops. I don't want to forget anybody, but all of those people really came through for me and helped my business.
Wow. So when you look at somebody being successful like yourself and having a restaurant, a lot of times the perception is that, one, it was easy, and two, it was overnight. And based off of what you're telling me, nothing close.
It was not overnight. I was selling my dinners out of my car for like probably a year, and then I branched off into like catering. People started to get my menu, and then I moved from going to barbershops to corporate buildings. I used to service Virginia Dominion Power, Vital Records, where you get your birth certificate from, certain post offices. I was everywhere. I was everywhere with my menu until it got to the point where I wasn't able to handle the demand that I was getting, and I was like, okay, I have to figure out a way to step it up. So I had so many different concepts. Food truck. I wanted a restaurant. I didn't know nothing. I didn't know what I was doing at all.
So how did you make the leap from, doing it, kind of the solopreneur way, out of your car and stuff, to having the restaurant?
I just felt like if I didn't make the move that I made, then I was always just going to be hustling at a certain level. Like I knew at that point for me, the type of person that I am, like once I master something, what am I doing? You know what I'm saying? I felt like I mastered selling dinners out of my car. Like what is next? Wow. This can't be
time to graduate.
It's time to graduate. So I started looking for places. I found the location, and everybody thought I was crazy. So many people was like, you don't even know what you're doing. Like, you want to get a restaurant? And I was so convicted with wanting that. Like, I just felt like I don't care what it's going to take. I'm going to do the work. I took all of my money out of my 401k that I had for 20 years. That was all I had. I had my credit at A1, got me a couple of cards. Got business credit, and then I just, landed my location.
Wow. So you just really, that's the definition of betting on yourself. Like, you took it
Every
all.
last dollar.
Yeah.
Every last dollar. But I had a great community, man. Like, I love where I'm from. I love New York, but Richmond, Virginia has really come through for me. Like, I can't even begin to say that. Like, even when my business is doing bad, I post on social media. So many people share, even guys that used to get my food in the barbershop. Like I was working at the front the other day. One dude came in like, came all the way over here from Southside. Like, and it's just things like that. Like Richmond, Virginia stood up for me. Like they really did.
Man, it's great to have community. And not only is the community supporting and pouring into you, but I see you pouring into the community. You have events that you do for networking and pop-up shops and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And
is it important to you because, the community poured into you, or is there another reason why you pour so much?
That's my only reason. Like, I feel like, what is it to get on the top and not help people that helped you? Like, for me, I don't even care if people decide to pay for the tables or if you just want to come in my doors, let's link, let's vibe. Let's talk. Let's get these conversations going. Like, how can I help you? How can you help me? What is it? Because a lot of people come to the restaurant and they spend their money, but I don't know what your business is. I want to know the people that spend their money in my business. What can I do to spend money in your business? My doors is open to you. If you want to, like, I have a lot of people that come in during the week. Like, I have Mr. Baker. He sells his cakes and stuff out of my business. You know what I'm saying? I don't charge people. Like, if my doors is open and you want to come set up in my building, you're more than welcome.
That's awesome. Did anybody give you that type of opportunity? Outside of a barbershop, right? They allowed you to sell, but did anybody give you that type of opportunity?
Nah, man. My barbershop people was the ones who, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, those was the people that they came through. Like, I'm telling you, and I can't stress this anymore, but Dwayne Taylor, his whole shop, like just everything just it just was amazing. Like, and from getting people in the barbershops, like, it wouldn't only be me feeding them in the barbershop. They would have a baby shower. They would have, a wedding. Their wife would need meal prep. Like, it just branched off into something so crazy.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're living your passion or your dream?
Yes, I am. But people don't understand, like, when you own a business, and see, the thing about it is I don't have one of those businesses that I can just, pay employees and I never have to be there. Yeah. So I come in the morning every day. I cook my own food. Of course, I have to leave out and I have people running it. But when you're so hands-on in your business and you have to manage employees, you have to, worry about overhead, hiring. Like, I'm only one person and I do it all. So I just would, change the fact that I would just allow myself to not be so controlling. But it's hard when you take everything that you have and you put it into something. It's kind of hard not to, be so hands-on. Yeah,
you're really vested.
Absolutely.
And you definitely don't want anybody to tarnish your brand or mess up anything that you have going.
Absolutely.
But what about the recipes?
So my menu.
Yeah, go ahead.
My menu is all over the place, and my menu's all over the place because in New York it's so diverse. Like, you can go to the Bronx and you could get Dominican food. You can go to Brooklyn and you can get Trinidadian food. You can go uptown and get Jamaican food. Like, it's all over the place. So I never wanted to create a menu where you can only come in and get one type of food. So I have African food, I have Jamaican food, I have Dominican deep fried patties, I have a little bit of everything. And then every Tuesday, I hit them with a specials menu. So I go crazy with them on the specials where you get a whole list of different stuff. I definitely try to cater to the vegan community. The vegan community has been amazing for me. They've been amazing for me. Like, a lot of my recipes come from them. Yeah. They don't come from me. Like, a lot of people hit me up like, yo, you should do this, you should do that. Everything that they tell me to do, I do it exactly how they say it, and boom, it's a hit. Okay. It's not just me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I'm not just doing it by myself. It's me and my community doing it.
That's awesome. That's the reason I came in there was for the vegan food. Yep. And like I said, I'm trying this vegan thing. I call myself veganish.
Veganish.
Yeah, so I don't like to be bound or tied down to a title.
Absolutely.
But I know I need to eat right.
Absolutely.
So, so I try to do the best I can,
I mean, I definitely feel like for me, a lot of people, even with being vegan, they're vegan and then they're gluten-free, soy-free, and then so it gets so complex. So to try to cater to everything is hard. But I definitely do my best. Like I told you, I get all of my ideas when it comes to the vegan food. I get all of my ideas from them. I'll hit them up like, hey, Plant-Based Ace, she's on IG. What do I do with my vegan mac? She's like, yo, add some cream cheese to it. Boom. I feel like I have, business partners that I don't actually have to pay that I can reach out to. That's awesome. You get what I'm saying? There's nothing like having access to a community full of knowledge.
Yeah, and you definitely don't have, too much ego to say, look, this is my only way or this is my menu. Like, you're listening to your clientele and you're saying, look, there's a demand or a desire to have this added to the menu, and then you're adding it, but then you're also taking from other people's ideas and not being, stubborn and saying, look, this is my way, this is the way I'm gonna do it.
No, I would never, I would never be successful in business if you don't listen to the people. Then how you gonna know what to put on the street? Yeah, you get what I'm saying? Like, you gotta listen to what is happening, and the new thing that's happening is people want to eat healthy. Yeah. People want to do things healthy. People want to exercise. So if you create what they need, you're always gonna be in business.
Did you have any mentors for your business?
I would just say I had so many people that helped me. You know, my mom is she taught me everything as far as cooking. You know what I'm saying? I have really, really bad asthma. You saw that before we got on. I was like, yo, let me get my pump. So I was a sickly child. So I used to have to stay home with my mom. Staying home with my mom meant my mother cooked every day. Every day I came home from school, we had a different meal. I don't even know what leftovers is. Wow. Like, that's how my mom was. So I just love to cook. Like, that's just my thing. But I wouldn't say that I had like somebody directly teaching me. I just had a lot of great friends, a lot of a good support system, and just depending on the people that was around me at that time.
Your recipes, your mom loved to cook. You got a passion for cooking, but are the recipes family recipes, or is it just a passion that's...
Everything I made up when I opened up the restaurant.
Oh, okay.
Like, I just came up with a menu, did my recipes. Like, I was always cooking, but I never took the time to, you know what I'm saying? Write a recipe. So when I got the restaurant, I had to do that. And the complicated part is doing it and then having to teach somebody else to do it. Because you have to think, like, I have to rely on somebody. If I have a family emergency, somebody has to be able to open. Yeah. So it's complicated to learn something. I could do it myself. But the thing in business, if you can't teach somebody what you do, what is the point? Right. You get what I'm saying? You have to be teachable. If you're gonna keep the knowledge for yourself, there's no point in that. There's no point.
Because then you also become the single point of failure.
Absolutely.
If anything happens to you, it can't run.
Absolutely.
And I'm sure you want to take some time to go down to Georgia and visit your daughter.
Right, I do. I mean, definitely with having my business, it's definitely locked me in a lot. I haven't been able to live, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Take vacations, only because I'm just so invested. And you have to think, I opened up my business and then COVID hit. So that was like I took a hit there. Yeah. COVID hit, and then, everybody came back outside, but it's still a struggle every day. And then I think the only thing that I feel like I should tweak about my business or change is that I need to put myself more out there. Okay. And only because I'm in the back of the kitchen, like, that's where my passion is. My passion is not, being in the public and being on social media, but I know that is the way that I need to market myself. So now I've trying to rebrand myself and deal with a marketing team to help me get or reach a wider audience.
Well, I think that's a good idea. People, they love your restaurant, they love the food, but once they tie the food into you and they love you both, that's going to create, an awesome connection. Absolutely.
And see, when I cook, when I come in the kitchen in the morning, I cut my music on and I just vibe out. Like, when I'm in that kitchen cooking, I'm pouring love into that food. Like, I'm really in there because that's my element. Like, I could come into the kitchen and I could cook with my eyes closed because I'm just so fluent in what I do. Like, I'm not one of those chefs though where it's like, I'm measuring everything I do. I know it to a T. It's like putting on shoes for me. Yeah,
it's that old saying, loving from the oven.
Absolutely.
Yeah. The obstacles that you had with COVID, how did you adjust your business or deal with that?
That was crazy for me and scary, but I know I keep saying this. My community. Yeah. My community. I had people that knew that, I had just started my business that came in faithfully every day, order my food. If it wasn't calling, it was on the tablet. I survived everything from the people that support my business. Like, people were really passionate about supporting me and making sure that I stayed open.
Yeah. So you kept the doors open, fully,
during COVID. I was only takeout only. So you would be able to call, and then when you come to the door, we'll bring your food straight to you. And then we had tablets. I was on DoorDash, Postmates, Uber Eats, and Grubhub. Now Uber Eats and Postmates merged. So
no, I didn't know that.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm.
And you're still doing those same platforms as well. So that's expanding your business even more because you're able to use those and be fully open. Yep. Yeah. Do you you work a lot with other, restaurants and businesses. Do you have like a competitive nature, or is it always kind of like collaboration? So
I love to collaborate. So like, even for me, I'm right next door to a new vegan, which is 100% vegan. So you have people that'll come into the restaurant and I won't have something that they're looking for. I don't have no problem saying, yo, they got chicken drummies over there that's vegan and they fire. Yo, True, do you have desserts? I don't have no desserts over here, but when you finish, go next door to New Vegan. He got you on. Like, I'm never that person. I support anybody that supports my business. I be pulling up on other people's business. That's just how I am. Like, if you support me, I'll support you. And even if you don't support me, I'll still support you. It don't bother me. Right. Like, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah, you don't feel like there's any lack. There's enough out here for everybody
to eat. Absolutely. I don't even feel like I need to compete because I'm in my own lane.
Yeah.
I'm in my own lane, just like you in your own lane. I don't feel the need to have to do that. Yeah. My food speaks for itself.
It does. It definitely does. So I was blessed enough to have a gift from you. So
right. So today I brought you and wifey some food. I think I got barbecue jerk salmon, spicy rice with African fried spinach. I got my patties. One is a fat girl patty and a curry potato patty. Then you got curry potatoes and chickpeas, honey Hennessy shrimp with coconut rice and beans, and cabbage. Then I got you a Caribbean fruit punch and a mango passion.
Oh, appreciate it.
Dinner's on me tonight.
Yeah, thank you for the
Definitely,
gift.
absolutely.
But the Hennessy honey is something I've never had. Like I eat a lot of Caribbean food. I've never had.
Right. So when I came up with the sauce, that name, that was a time where Henny was popping. Everybody loved Hennessy, so that was the thing. So I'm like, okay,
it still is for me.
Right. My concept was to try to create a name that's catchy. So everybody always says that, like, yo, is the Hennessy in it? I'm like, nah, that's a name. So what I did was with the honey Hennessy sauce for the vegans, vegans don't eat honey.
Okay.
So it's just the name. So I always have the vegans coming in like, is there honey in it? And I'm like, nah, it's just the name. Is there alcohol? Yeah. There's no alcohol. It's just a name. It's just a name.
Yeah. I told you I'm not a good vegan because I didn't even know they didn't eat honey. I figured that was
Guess where I learned that they don't eat honey from?
Where?
I learned that from my community. My community came into me. I think it was Nico. He's He's a photographer. He came in and he's like, yo, True, we don't eat honey. And I'm like, tag, I got the honey Hennessy stir fry. I'm like, there's no honey in it. I said, it's just the name. He was like, I know, but that might deter people. But it's fine. They still order it, but they always ask, is there honey in it or is there alcohol? So at this point.
So I'm all jacked up. Right. I like honey and Hennessy.
Right.
And neither one of them are in it.
Right.
But
None of them's in it. It's just a name. It's just a name.
Yeah.
Mm. But so when you guys came, you got all vegan food, right?
Yeah, we got all vegan food. I know we got the fat girl patty. Mm-hmm. I got the honey Hennessy stir fry. Yeah. Yep. And so everything was just banging. Like,
Thank you.
You couldn't even tell.
And then I appreciate what y'all did. Like, so in my business, I always tell people, my customers, when you leave, if you had a great time, please take the time to leave us a review on Google. Now, if you're out there and you're watching this, you really don't know what it can actually do when you go and you patronize a business and to actually take the time to write them a review. Everybody's on social media, but when it comes to that Google, and here's where Google is amazing. When anybody comes from out of town, what's the first thing you do? You Google food near me, salon near me. So when you go into your favorite places, there's nothing to hop on Google right quick and shout out their business, click a 5, write a review. It takes 2 minutes. That's extremely important for businesses.
Yeah, that's an awesome way to support people, and it doesn't really cost you anything.
It costs
like
you
you said,
nothing.
A couple seconds.
Now I remember telling y'all, and as soon as y'all left out, my phone was jumping, and I was like, they hit me off. They hit me with a review.
Definitely, and that, like you said, that comes from being an entrepreneur. I know how important it is to get that kind of support for the business and those testimonials.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What did you do, and what was your life like before the restaurant or even delivery?
Clocking in like everybody else. Mm-hmm. Clocking in like everybody else. Like I had that mentality of, getting up, going to work like everybody else. And that became tiring. You know what I'm saying? Definitely working in law enforcement and working in the prison system and seeing Black men locked up. It just wasn't my passion. It wasn't my passion and it wasn't in my heart. So I felt like when things worked out the way that they did, I feel like everything in my life happened the way that it needed to happen. Because if not, I would still be, going to work at 7 o'clock, working my 12-hour shift. So I never regret any decisions that I made to be on the path that I'm on now. I want to start linking with people to get them out of the mindset of clocking in for somebody else. So I have a couple of things that I'm going to be working on soon, which is called Healthy Conversations, where we just all come to the restaurant on a down day and, talk about everything, health, what's out there for African Americans that, that we can stop eating meat and become more healthy. And I think that when people think of being a vegan, people think of things as being plain. It doesn't have to be plain because it's vegan or because, you know, it's vegetables. Like if you got good people that could cook and you can put a vegetable with something and put some batter on it. And I'm telling you, sometimes it tastes just like chicken.
They do.
Them cauliflower bites ain't nothing but the truth. But I just want to talk to the community and see what's out there because I have a whole restaurant.
Yeah.
And this is a very slow time for me. So I want to connect with people and see how I can open my doors to try to help that person with whatever business that they have. So I know there's a girl out there, she calls herself Vegan Thoughts on Instagram. And I want to kind of link with her, but I want to do that personal. Like I want to start doing something like this, but I want to do it at like an Airbnb where people pull up on me while I'm cooking and we kind of have a show. It'll be just like this where we talking, but you're talking to me while we cooking. I'm teaching you how to make healthy meals or whatever your problem is. You know, sometimes people are like, I cook, but I want to know how I can eat more healthy or, you know, what can you do to help me, True? I want to bring people on every week or however it works out once a month and do stuff like that.
That's a dope concept and great dialogue and conversation. But you mentioned a lot about your mindset. I think, you know, just about all of us, you know, if you weren't raised with knowing there's a possibility of entrepreneurship, it's not really our mentality.
Right.
And so I was in that same rat race. But how did you change or shift your mentality to say, you know what, there's something better out there, something more?
I was forced to, like most people.
Hey, I hope you're enjoying the episode. I hate to interrupt, but I had to tell you about a community that I'm a part of. It's called the Morning Meetup. It's where hundreds of entrepreneurs gather every single morning. Look, we share ideas, we motivate each other, we share our successes. It's the perfect environment for you to not only grow as an individual, but as an entrepreneur. It's hosted by my mentor, David Shands. It's every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. It's no better way to start your day. Look, we've got a book club. Imagine hundreds of entrepreneurs reading the exact same book on the exact same chapter. You get to discuss that book and share your thoughts. It's very motivating. It empowers you, and you're ready to start your day. You get all of that for only $1. After that, it goes to $79 a month. I have no doubts that you're going to want to stay and be a part of this community. Look, I'm there every single morning, 8 a.m. The only thing we're missing is you. The link is in the description. Go ahead, click the link, try it out, join the community. Look forward to seeing you in the morning.
You know, a lot of people don't just wake up and they're just not just like, you know, let me do this. Most times, you know, what lights fire to our, you know, bottoms is when you have no other choice. And see, for me, which is sad because, you know, somebody significant in my life would always tell me that, you know, I go the hardest when my back is up against the wall. And that's my New York mentality, you know, living that rat race of, you know, not knowing where your next dollar is going to come from. Like when I have that mentality, that's when I'm the most hungriest. That's when I'm the most creative. Right. But when you create a different mentality to be able to not have to put yourself in distress to want more. You get what I'm saying? Like, why do you have to
get to that point?
Why do you have to get to that point to have your mind thinking further? You get what I'm saying? Because normally we're just comfortable in the place that we are until a situation makes us uncomfortable and we have to do something to get out of it. But why not program your mind the opposite way to not have to be in distress to actually get to your real path?
Yeah, I think it's an exercise too. Like you got to catch yourself when you're getting complacent and start to realize and be like, you know what, I got to stretch my mind, stretch my thinking, and surrounding yourself with people, like you said, these healthy conversations or people in the community who are also entrepreneurs, or even if they are employed, as long as they got the desire to do something else, then you're surrounding yourself with people that's going to stretch your mind. And
Nowadays, everybody has a hustle. Everybody has a grind. A lot of people that I know, they work their 9 to 5 and they're doing something else. So, you know, we're in the times where one of anything is not enough. You get what I'm saying? And I'm just keeping it a buck. Like having one business is like, okay, what you doing? Like 2, 3 businesses is, oh, all right, now you're talking, you know? That's just the wave now.
Yeah. But how are you going to help other people get to that?
So I want to kind of, you know, whatever resources that I have, if I could use my resources to help you or to tell you what it is that I went through so that you don't do. So one of my close friends, his name's Nico. He does a lot of my photography. You know, he expressed to me a lot of his dreams and aspirations as far as just restaurant stuff. And I just want to, anybody that wants to open up a restaurant, I would love to talk to you so that you don't make not saying bad decisions, but decisions that cost me thousands of dollars. You get what I'm saying? Probably, right? In time, just not being knowledgeable. Like me, I wanted my restaurant, but I didn't have anybody, a lawyer read over my lease so that I don't get into a bad lease. Yeah. I didn't have anybody right there telling me, hey, if the HVAC is bad, maybe you might not want to sign your lease. Maybe you want to negotiate. I didn't have anybody. Of course, now I'm 2 years in business, and these are things that I've learned. But I would love to tell people the do's and the don'ts so that they don't, make the mistakes I made. Yeah,
the things you learned the hard way, kind of save them a little bit of time and help the transition be a little easier for them.
Absolutely.
What is one of the hardest lessons you had to learn?
The hardest I had to learn is in the beginning of starting my business, I was very, I held on so tight, and I held on so tight because it was all I had. I took my last to get it. So when somebody else maybe gave me an idea, I was so, doing it my way. Remember we talked about that in the beginning? And I told you as time went by, I saw myself making mistakes. So I started to take advice from the community. I started to listen to other people, not be afraid to reach out or ask for help. Because that's the thing in business. We want people to see us as being successful. So, asking for help is like, well, you ain't doing that. You ain't doing that good if you need help. So I had to get myself out of the mindset of I can't do it by myself. You get what I'm saying? It takes a village. And although we want to think that we can do it alone, and some people think that they have done it alone, I did not obtain my business alone. Yeah, absolutely. I did not get to choose Cultural Kitchen alone. It was so many people. They had their hands in my situation, from, people letting me stay with them to get where I needed to be. People opening their businesses up, letting me sell my dinners in there. It's so many people that helped me get to where I was. So I just want to be that help to somebody else. And like I told you, the girl that's on Instagram, her name is Vegan Thoughts. Yeah. She has an amazing concept. Like the type of food she does is all vegan, but she'll do like vegan sushi. She's so creative. So the first person that I want to sit down with and cook in the kitchen with is definitely going to be her.
All right. Well, that's a collect. Does she know that?
She knows it already. All
right. I was gonna say if she don't know, she's gonna know now.
My ducks is lined up. I already planted that seed. For me, I'm the type of person where I don't really like to talk about anything and let it just be talk. I'm one of those people where if I say something, I gotta put action to it, or I'm just a person with a lot of ideas. I don't want to be a person with a lot of ideas. Yeah,
they say a lot of good ideas are in the graveyard. You don't want to die with all them good ideas.
Right. And then I have a lot of people that are around me that have great ideas, but they just need, you know what I'm saying? They may need that little push or that little extra somebody to help them get to where they need to go. And if I could be that person, let's get it.
Yeah, and I think the encouragement of seeing you do it and you pursue your dreams, sometimes it's just a spark enough for somebody to say, you know what, I'm going to at least try.
Right.
I'm going to at least step outside of my box and give it some effort.
Absolutely.
You never know how that's going to turn out.
Yep. But I love what I do, man. I absolutely do. I love what I do. I've had so many people work for me over the years. The restaurant business employees is one of those, high turnover rates. But in the process of that, I met some dope people. Yeah. I met some really dope people. Definitely have.
Speaking of dope people, how'd you build your team?
As I said, it's always revolving because, the restaurant game, nobody really, you have students, people that are in school. So a lot of my staff is I have a connection with VCU, where the people that are in the culinary arts program, I do paid internships. So a lot of my kitchen people come from them. And then I try to always use a popular bartender. So my team now that I have is pretty strong.
Pretty solid.
Yeah, pretty solid. Absolutely.
And what do you think helps them by coming with you?
Um,
And when I say that, I mean, you was a culinary student, right?
Yeah.
So you having culinary students, that's what I'm saying. I think that really
Right.
helps them
Right.
being with somebody who knows.
Right. I mean, so they have a large variety of restaurants to choose from. So when they choose me, I think it's more so of them just being, you know, familiar with the culture or coming into the restaurant, feeling the home vibe. You know, when you're a student, you want to feel at home. You get what I'm saying? You want to feel comfortable. So I know the last person that was with me, she's definitely dope. Her name's Brittany. She is a culinary arts student, but she also caters and stuff like that. So, I mean, if you love what you do, and even if you cook, let's get it. I've learned a lot of stuff from the culinary arts students. Like, they have a different type of way of doing things. So I take things from everybody. Like, just because I am where I am, I always want to learn. You know, I don't know everything.
Absolutely. Yeah, you got to stay in that same mindset of, like you were talking about, with your back being against the wall. You got to stay with that same hunger. You got to stay with that same humble mentality that, look, I'm not too big to learn or grow. And then that's when, you know, other people are open to pour into you, because they don't feel like, you know, you're too much of a know-it-all or too big to approach.
Right. So a while back, I went through a period of where I was just, I was really burnt out in my business. And I was burnt out because I was doing everything from opening, managing employees, you know, trying to stay on top of creating specials, creating dope content. So if you think about it, you know, I already have my main menu that I have to focus on. And then I create a whole nother menu every week. So I got to a point to where I was just very relaxed, and I don't want to go back to that, if that makes sense. Like, I was like, the way I am now, I want more. Like, I want to put myself out there more. I want to do, you know, more interviews. I want more events at the restaurant. I think before I just was focused on the restaurant side, but you're not going to survive thinking that that's all you need to do is just cook and open the doors. Like, it's so much more than that that you need to stay afloat in the restaurant business. And it's definitely hard. It's not easy.
How can you tell somebody to be prepared for that not easy?
Have your coins right. Have your coins right. And I only say that because, you know, dealing with commercial leases, you're talking about long term, you're talking 3 years, you know, that's minimum. So if you think of locking in with somebody for 3 years, you got to make sure the building is straight. You have to take care of everything, HVAC, overhead, anything. It's not like living in an apartment. You know, anything goes wrong, it's your responsibility. You're like the owner at that point for those 3 years. So like I was telling you before, I didn't really have anybody helping me look over my lease or do anything like that. So that's where I'm at now. You know, if I ever move from there, I'm putting myself in a position to where when I do get another commercial lease, I didn't get myself into the same situation that I'm in now.
Right. You learned a lot of what to look for.
Absolutely. And before I didn't care about nothing.
Kind of eager to get in.
I wanted to get into that restaurant, and I just wanted my food to hit the city. I didn't care about nothing else. And I feel like having that attitude got me to where I am now. That I was hungry, man.
Yeah.
Literally, I was hungry.
What can us as the community and as your, you know, patrons for the restaurant do for you?
Keep coming in, supporting every time you come in. Anybody that always follows my business on social media, I always follow them back. It's nothing to hit me up in the DMs and say, you know, hey, True, this is my business. This is what I do. You know, I need to set up my table, whatever it is, whatever I can do to help you get to where you want to go, especially if you're coming into my business and you putting your money into my pockets. How can we collab? How can I do the same for you?
Absolutely. You've got an amazing restaurant. You've got an amazing style. You've got amazing personality.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining me and coming on Success
Absolutely.
Podcast.
Thank you for asking me, man.
So something that I like to do in every episode, it is the Success Leads Clues podcast. So I like to point out, you know, a couple of clues that I noticed throughout that helped you to be successful. And you talked a lot about community. And so it's not only what the community does for you, but what you can pour back into the community. You talked about, you know, your grit and your grind, you know, having your back against the wall. And you talked about, just being hungry in general, and just always having, a mentality that makes you want to just go out and do a whole lot more.
Right.
And so I'm quite sure, the viewers may notice a lot of other things, but I like to point out just a few just to help them get started. And as always, I want to let you know, if you dream it, you can achieve it. Until next time on Success Leaves Clues podcast.